Let's talk to Jonathan Haslam, who's a former Director of Communications for Sir John Major. Jonathan, very good morning to you.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Yeah, very well indeed. I mean, the fight for the soul of the Conservative Party begins anew, I suppose, this morning, because everybody seems to have a different view of what it should do next.
Yes, well, we've still got a number of constituencies to declare, so it's going to be a little bit of time to allow people to get some rest, settle down, see how the dust settles.
Right.
And the attention will be on Keir Starmer and his winning team. But for the Conservative Party, this is serious business. They've got a number of urgent jobs to decide on. First of all, will Rishi Sunak stay on for a short period of time with a quick leadership election, or will he do something like holding on for, say, 6 months to allow more time to reflect on what the outcome is? So there's plenty of stuff to go on. And I think when you're talking centre ground against reform, and that is a fascinating debate.
Yeah.
We also have to look
I'm just going to interrupt you for 1 second, Jonathan. We're just watching Jeremy Hunt there walking out of Downing Street with his family and his dog, it would seem. I don't know if he's coming back. But cheerio, Jeremy. Sorry, I just had to mention that in case people wanted to see it.
Not at all. First time he's walked out of number 11 in that style without a dispatch box.
Yes.
But congratulations to him for being a good constituency MP and holding on to his seat in the face of significant difficulties.
Yes.
I think there's another aspect aside from reform which we can talk about at more length, I think, Mike, and that is right. The Conservatives have no seats in Wales. They have 3 seats, down 1 in Scotland as things stand. So they are an English party, essentially, assuming that, we take into account Northern Ireland, Conservative and Unionist Party. Whereas Labour, of course, does have representation in each of the nations. And that's an important factor as well. That the Conservative Party thinks how it's going to appeal to the whole of the country, rather than becoming a narrow English party. And when you're talking about English parties, it was one of the concerns that John Major had about devolution in Scotland, the extent to which it worked, and whether or not you would see English nationalism come to the fore. So let's go back to reform for a second. And I know we've got another commentator there, I respect his views. When it comes to reform, they have absolutely got a clue. They have no policies apart from wanging on about immigration that make any sense whatsoever. If you thought Liz Truss was going to introduce a budget and it would be a disaster, which it was, ask Nigel Farage and his team to introduce a budget and this country would crash. They haven't got a clue. So they are a party of protest. They are a party which is...
But they're a party of a lot of influence, though, as well. You can't discount the influence that Nigel Farage has had over time. And he may be quite happy with that. He was a member of the European Parliament for many years, and an awful lot of what he did when he was there was just become an irritant to everybody. Yes,
which is absolutely no use whatsoever if we're trying to think about the future of our country.
I don't know if it's not that it's no use, Jonathan, because of the influence that he has had over the last 20 years or so, things have happened politically to this country which have been caused entirely due to his influence.
Yeah, certainly he's influential. But the point is, what positive action have we seen from it? So a great mover for Brexit. Well, we can have that debate again. I can't see any positives that have come out from Brexit so far. So nobody's made a great improvement from that. So standing up and saying you want to be a nuisance in Parliament, well, that doesn't help the people of Clacton.
Well, he's not saying that. I'm saying that. I mean, I'm not suggesting that would be his policy. But a lot of people would tell you, who are on the side of wanting to leave the European Union and staying out of it, that Keir Starmer now says he doesn't want to go back into it. And in fact, a lot of European countries are in a worse state economically than we are.
There are wider questions about whether or not it's just economics. There's more to it than that. In the face of a resurgence of Russia, aside from...
But I mean, look at what's happening in European elections as well. I mean, European elections and European countries are moving to the right.
No, they're going to populists, people who give you straightforward, simple answers, which probably won't work. And the thing that's...
but the Conservatives haven't worked for 14 years, have they? So, I mean, what are we choosing?
No, you've certainly got a degree of stability in some respects, but what you haven't got there is the right being tested. Look at Meloni in Italy, for example. She came in as on the right of politics. and she has tacked to the left in the practical, pragmatic way in which she is running the country. So in the face of actual the responsibility to do things that impact our daily lives regularly, they just do not seem to come up with the answers, because a quick, straightforward answer is like most of those
But
things.
isn't that just a cop-out from the people who have been in power for such a long time that they've frustrated the British public, who have now decided to vote in quite large numbers for an alternative to the two-party system, and people don't want to admit that it is a problem? And that's how they got there in the first place, because at the end of the day, you know, there have been no answers provided by the Tory party, certainly in the last 4 or 5 years, regardless of what happened, you know, 10 years ago. So, you know, I think people have lost faith in the political system as well, and that's partially what's driving people voting for reform.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right in terms of the Conservatives. The Labour Party is now going to have the opportunity to take its turn at the tiller and see if it can do it better. The Conservative Party has lost this election through incompetence and hubris and choosing the wrong leaders. They've got an opportunity now to go and retrench. And there's no guarantee that, you know, Labour's going to get 10 years. What we have seen in this election, Mike, also, as you know, is there is huge volatility. We are looking for answers. What we really want is competence, common sense, and we don't want the clown show that we've had in Downing Street over the last 4 years.
Yeah. Well, the home of common sense is right here. You're talking to us. So, you know, if they come and talk to us, we'll give them some answers. And they might not be simple answers, but we'll give them some clues. Good to talk to you, Jonathan. Thank you very much indeed. Jonathan Haslam there, former communications chief for Sir John Major.